Carlton, they were meant to have 20 AFL listed, but just the 18 for us. It'll be Flynn Riley for the Blues, starting in the ruck to the left of your dial, up against Leroy Smith. And the tap one down towards Gray, couldn't make much of it, and wrapped up in the tackle immediately. Bit of a swirly night here at Icon Park, but pretty good conditions for football. I would love some Friday night lights, of course, as George Hewitt is a big story for the Blues, just getting his hands on the football there. Of course, got famously dropped a couple of weeks back at AFL level, last year's best and fairest for the Blues. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes tonight as Flynn Riley playing the tackle. Hewitt as well, just comes out of the back of the pack, did well under pressure straight away, just scooped it towards high half forward, but not a lot giving early stages, Michael.
Difficult to get out of the congestion so far. They had named 20 AFL listed players, as Austin mentioned. Wade Dirksen and Liam Reedy laid out. That brings the Blues up to 6 total changes. In come Hewitt, Lord, Boyd, Duffy, Riley, and also Taj Logan, who's a 23rd man as Collingwood goes forward. Fist comes defensively. Prindable, their first pick in last year's draft. Tapped in the bullet direction, ends up with Sullivan. His kick rolls over the boundary line and out. And for Collingwood, 4 changes. Sullivan comes in. Josh Brown, Harry Marnie, and Xavier Laverty making his debut at VFL level is the other inclusion. The outs, Angus Anderson, Zach McCarthy, Jai Saxena, and Xavier Ma, who's suspended as the Blues clear. Moyer's tap-on attempt didn't quite work. Swaddling back in the Ryan direction. It's a long ball inside 50, and the mark is held by Teakle. The tallest man in the pack, Bryn Teakle, brings in the big contested mark.
Huge rub there, Michael. Fantastic effort. He's coming into this game with some good form as well as Teakle.
Yeah, 3 goals won a couple of weeks ago in the win against Coburg. It's a big win against Coburg. Spending a bit of time up forward, Bryn Teakle in Collingwood colours, and he misses for the first score of the night.
The opportunity gone begging there is Jordan Boyd, not wasting any time with a beautiful kick out, finding Fogarty. Boyd, one of those inclusions for the Blues tonight. Fogarty just stopped in his tracks there, not a lot down the ground. He's looking to try and switch this one back into defence. Bit of a danger ball, but it will work out there to Dane Harvey, who's one of the rare VFL listed players who managed to stay in the squad. As Rob Monahan on the outer side here at Icon Park, taking a couple of bounces, finished the game strong against North Melbourne a couple of weeks ago. We'll be looking to continue that form as on the outer side, Max Marnie applying some pressure. But that one will go out of bounds for a throw-in. George Hewitt already up to the 2 disposals, a couple tackles. The Blues haven't had much of the ball in their forward half of the ground so far. So it'll be Smith and Flynn Riley contesting the ruck yet again. Riley winning the tap, palmed it straight down, and still not a lot giving. Lucas Cambrelli laying the tackle there, had the 23 disposals in that 11-point loss to the Kangaroos a couple of weeks back. And his brother playing some good football, and nearly mirror images on the stat line as well, which is no surprises for the twin brothers, as it's going to be Smith on this occasion wrapped up.
Stoppage heavy game to this point. Both sides just feeling each other out. Carlton, as also mentioned, coming off that 11-point loss. Blues try and flick it around across half back. Now elect to take ground. Swaddling will track it back. His handball was a little bit too hot. Now they're under pressure, the Pies. Ryan able to find a teammate in some space, and now Gray can get it and go. The co-captain alongside Ben DeBolfo sets Buller a task, which he's up to. Now Prindable's going to drive it inside 50. Off the hands of Charlie West, and the Blues through Sard and Akers will look to get out of danger. Although not to this point. Laverty feeds it back towards Giath, who was taken down without it, but the umpire called play on. Smith able to get it to Parker. Now an opportunity for Prindable.
Certainly is. They've had all of the early territory. Have Collingwood. Can they make something meaningful in the scoreboard? Woden sending that one in towards the goal square, but Charleston back in defence. was able to rush that one over the line. So 2 minor scores to the Pies. 5 minutes into this one, Carlton yet to score. The first 4 inside forward 50s of the game. Just managed the 2 behinds from it as Boyd, again, just looking to capitalise with those quick kick-outs. Going the outer side now. Here at Icon Park, working it out through hand nicely here to Cooper Lord. One of the AFL listed players that we've already mentioned, but Collingwood create the turnover. Again, it's just struggling to get it in their forward half of the ground. Adam Sard, bit of a fumble, uncharacteristic from him. Managed to keep it in. Charlie West applying some pressure as the Blues through Camperali. Then that is under a lot of pressure, but that's a fantastic kick on the outer side here at Icon Park, and we can look to try and get something meaningful going here in this first term. That's a better kick going inboards. Jack Ison, who's been pretty good to the start of his VFL career, sells a bit of candy and will drive the kick long inside for their first entry, and they'll get a mark from it. It's going to be Fogarty. It takes the mark, looks inboard, and that's a good football there from the Blues.
It was an outstanding kick from Jack Ison, wasn't it? Just opened up the ground and got it over the heads of those Collingwood defenders to Fogarty, and then the easy little chip in board to open up the angle for Hewitt.
Yeah, so George Hewitt, who we touched on, a big story out of the Carlton Football Club, of course, dropped a couple of weeks ago, makes his return to the VFL. Over 200 games at AFL level. The perfect start here for the Blues. Slight angle, pretty much straight in front, and just misses to the left. First score for the Blues, a minor one, as they trail by 1 point.
So the big sticks evading both sides at the minute as Ryan brings it back into play. Short kick's a good one. Up the line. Fist comes from the Carlton defence. Numbers around the footy. Umpire circling, says give it to me. Swaddling at the bottom of the pack. Hewitt clears by foot. McGuinness, who's making his way back from a knee injury for Collingwood, just standing tall in defence. Swaddling another touch. He's a ball magnet. McGuinness involved. Nowhere to go at the minute for the Pies. Another touch for Swaddling. West the target up the line. Teakle ends up with it. Just trying to shovel it forward. Smith with a good tackle. Here's Luke Quainer now over the top of it, but Carlton are going to come away. Kick inside, Parker, courageous. Standing in front of the charging forward and takes the grab.
Certainly was. A great mark. Out of the outer side. Quaynor. It's fairly good in their win over Coburg a couple of weeks back. There's a kick down to the line to a 2-on-1. The Blues able to spoil it, but it will stay inboards here for the Pies. 4 inside forward 50s to start the game. And just a couple of behinds. As they will get the mark on the outer side. I believe it's Jack Buller, who is in some red-hot form, is Jack Buller. Had 4 goals won against Coburg a couple of weeks ago. And kicked 5-2 for the year. Although this one will take an almighty effort. It'll be the best part of 50 metres, just hugging the boundary. For the first of the evening here at Icon Park. Of course, Jack Buller has played the 12 games at AFL level. Joined in 2023 in the mid-season draft. As I said, coming from a 4-goal performance against the Burgers a couple of weeks back. He's absolutely roosted the kick, but it'll just fall a little bit short across the face. Still will stay inside here. The snap around the corner from Sullivan. Goes across the face, and the Blues will take the mark in the pocket and look to play on, but there's not a whole lot down the line. So they're going to have to let it go through hand yet again under pressure. And they'll work it out through Ben Camperali.
Yes, they will. Handball swept over the top to Young. Watch out, chase down tackle was brilliant and is rewarded with a free kick. Advantage taken by the Pies. Banged inside 50 to the 1-on-1, using the body brilliantly. And missing, though, was Charlie West. Disappointing result there for the Pies.
Yeah, certainly right. Played on thinking there wasn't going to be too much pressure forward of the ball, but Carlton defence was able to come in at the last second to at least Allow him to hear the footsteps, and a pretty bad miss, but a good mark taken from Joel Cochran here. Impressive off half back for the Pies is Cochran. Waits the kick nicely. And a Reef McInnes, who I believe is going to be playing full game time, said Craig McRae the other day in his presser. After coming on managed minutes, it's going to be turned over though. The Blues with an opportunity through Blake Acres, 50 metres out on the run. They've got the 2-on-1 just out the top of the goal square. Hewitt, his second shot. The crowd went up. A few of the players did, but it misses to the right. The Blues 2 behinds. The Pies 3 behinds. We've gone nearly 10.5 minutes in this first quarter, Michael.
He's been active early, Hewitt. That was his 5th touch. Second behind. McInnes leads all Collins with 6. As the kick-in's turned over by Cochran. And it's Charlson who's got it just outside his range. Called to move it on now. Chips it out wide. Wilson now. Probing kick inside 50, but it's all Collingwood. They spoiled each other, Giath and Teakle. Creating a bit of drama inside forward 50. Emerging with it, there's Sammartino. Giath all over him. And Collingwood able to mop things up defensively. Almost turned into a calamity.
So about 10 metres out from Carlton's goal. Smith winning the tap down, but right to the Blues. Can this finally be the moment for them? Another behind, I believe, was touched off the boot. So well done there from the Collingwood defence. 3 behinds apiece. Yeah, round 4, Smithy's VFL action. DeBolfo taking the mark at the back pocket. Now to Jath. Goes inboards to Woden. Another well-weighted kick, this time finding Harry Marnie. His first VFL game back since the wildcard defeat in last year's final against Williamstown. It's a good kick, but nice bit of pressure from behind from Harry Charlson. Just getting a little digit on that one. It'll go out of bounds, allowing the players to have their rotations. Most of the players just been on that outer side for the past 5 minutes or so. So true centre wing broadcast side. As he said, Michael Swadling and McInnes leading all comers with 6, along with George Hewitt. Billy Wilson and Adam Saab with 5, along with Charlson. So some of the Carlton defenders getting their hands on the footy, which isn't always the great sign. Chester somehow funneled a handball out there to Moya. That's going to be turned over. Thought he was going to go to Woden there, but instead just waits that one in. And they're running in numbers now. They say don't handball to a big fella, but Smith has done okay. Bit of a grubber across the grass, though. Couldn't quite find the target in the pocket, but not a bad result of Andrew Throw-in deep inside the Pies territory.
Tall inside 50, the Pies, with West, Howes, Smith spending a little bit of time up there, and also Buller. Plenty of targets to kick to. Teakle's going to spend some time there as well, as it'll be thrown in once again. Plenty of AFL listed players getting their hands on the footy early, as Austin mentioned. An opportunity inside 50 for the Pies to turn some of their territory dominance into a goal. Smith tried to tap it on, only as far as O'Keefe, who bangs it high. Parker almost gloved it. Trying to flash through was Swadling. Blues through weight of numbers win out. Young flicks it over the top. Now Fogarty, the lead-up option on the wing. And he's going to get a 50-metre penalty as well, with players from both sides streaming back to get into Carlton's attacking half of the ground, and one of the Collingwood defenders got in the protected zone. So a chance now, perhaps for Fogarty, if he wants to take it on himself. Very much within range. He's played 92 AFL games. First round pick all the way back in 2017 by the Cats. Lockie Fogarty for the first of the Knights. Drills it.
Finally get a bit of reward there, the Blues. It was Collingwood that did have the hot start, Michael, but they've managed to wrestle back a bit of momentum after conceding the first 4 inside forward 50s. Got a few shots away and do their confidence a world of good. Finally seeing one go through the big sticks. And a nice set shot there after the 50-metre penalty.
So that was all it took to get the first goal on the board.
Yes. Sometimes you do need a bit of assistance. So we're 15 minutes into the first term, so it has taken some time. A couple other games in the Smithies VFL today as well. Footscray defeating Geelong by 33 points. And the Sydney Swans defeating the GWS Giants at the SCG by 22 points. So a couple of AFL double headers. There's a free kick, in the middle to Riley. Boyd streaming past out of defence in the long sleeve. He'll kick it towards a 2-on-1 as Carlton just tried to hang out the back of the contest. Fogarty got the last goal, applying the pressure on the tackle. And it will work out, being told to play on his Ben Camperalley. Was just a little bit rushed. He thought he could claim the mark, but instead it'll be another minus score. So 1-4-10, plays 3 behinds.
A little bit of a breeze out there. Certainly not a lot, though. The trees in the background here at Icon Park are still. Long to a contest. Off hands. Teakle spun out of traffic nicely. Handball's inboard for Woden. Parker. Corridors open for the Pies, and that's the way they're going to go. Towards the 50-metre arc. And that's a well-weighted kick off the boot of Harry Marnie. And Smith's got it in the pocket, but he's on the right side for the left footer. So it's the 16th pick in the 2024 mid-season draft, Illawarra Smith out of the Eastern Rangers. Now in his second full season on an AFL list, Smith's kick hits the post. Another behind for Collingwood.
Looked good off the boot, but unfortunate there. Can't buy a goal at the minutes. There's Duffy here for the Blues. His kick's going to be just towing that boundary line. Looked out of bounds from here, but because the umpires have got the best perspective and view on the game. As Lucas Camperalley couldn't quite find a target there in Cooper Lord, but luckily for the Blues, it won't be a lasso. It's not a bad crowd in tonight, Michael. There's a few starting to come in as well. So there's no at least AFL games in Melbourne tonight, so expecting a few of the Carlton and Collingwood faithful to come on down to Icon Park. There's another touch here for Ben Camperalley. Akers, very dangerous kick going back in towards defensive 50. Well done getting the spoil. Picked up now from Harry Marnie, who's had a solid start to this game. Blues have got the numbers and will work it out through Duffy. That's an attacking kick and a good one. Finding Cottrell. And they've just been able to open up a little bit of space now on the outer side. Jack Ison, who had a nice moment in this part of the ground to get them inside forward 50 earlier in the quarter. We'll just chip it around. Chesser now, Lord linking up. As they might have to go for the long down the line. As Lord, just at the last second, will pull that kick in towards high half forward, right? Hugging that boundary line. And there's been a whistle, or is that just because it's gone out of bounds, I believe? So it'll just be a boundary throw in about 65, 70 metres from the Blues' goal.
Now, Lord and Hewitt, two of the players who find themselves playing VFL footy now that Michael Voss has opted to just change up the midfield mix a little bit in the AFL side. Teakle with strength. Handball scooped out. Tucker applying the pressure for Carlton. Sammartino was over the top of it. Now a chance for Ison. Caught on his wrong foot, which is his right foot, if that makes sense. And the intercept mark is taken inside defensive 50 by the Pies. Called to play on McGuinness. Now Parker. Started the year in the AFL side. Finds himself out of the moment. Woden, perhaps a little casual with the one-handed marking attempt. Turns it over to Boyd. Carlton with numbers in traffic. Moyer feeds it back. Lord, Moyer again. Long handball in the Tucker direction. Does a full 360. They're making this difficult. The Blues was thrown out towards Moyer. Now a chance for Flynn Young inside 50. And perhaps mercifully, the passage comes to an end, but it was taken over deliberately by Reeve McGuinness, according to the umpire, and it's going to be a shot at goal for Acres.
Yeah, I like that call. He had a couple of metres to at least feign an attempt to dispose of it and was very happy to just run that one over.
So speaking of big names who find themselves outside the AFL team, Blake Acres got very close there, but hits the post.
So we're into time on now in this first quarter, round 4, Smithy's VFL action, live on afl.com.au and the AFL Live official app as the Pies just going to bomb that one down the line. It was a nice kick finding Howes. He's come up a long way from his normal habitat in the forward line and try and get something going. As you said, a lot of tall timber for the black and white tonight. And again, they're just trying to pump it long, but the big fella, Flynn Riley, just standing under that one. Won the Coaches Award last year, so he's a well-loved man around the club. One of the late ins as Monaghan initially fumbled the mark, but had plenty of time to mop up the mess. And here is Adam Sard going for one of his runs off half-back that we're so accustomed to seeing over the years, working it out through hand. Dane Harvey involved in the passage of play as well. Well done there in defence, just getting a little hand on it to stop the Collingwood surge forward. As laying the tackle there, Oscar Falkhead. Don't want to say that one too quickly throughout tonight. Has thrown up slightly forward of centre here for the Blues, who have got the momentum at the moment. Just a stringer behinds as Monaghan with another touch. It wasn't quite the best kick towards half forward. Lockie Sullivan now with Brady Gray.
Handball out wide in the House direction. Eventually confronted. Able to get it into the path of Max Marnie, who floats it inside 50. Brown's got work to do. Beaten to the footy. Now Charlson, who's pushed off it, but may have gotten boot to ball in the process. In fact, it's going to go to Charlson.
Might need the arc for that one.
Yes. Don't have that luxury in the Smithies VFL. Flyers go up. Cochrane had a big piece of it. Acres just got a hand in at the final moment. Swadling trying to direct it into the path of Teakle. Now ends up taking possession himself. Cochrane, the pressure from Carlton is forcing the Pies back. Ryan eventually able to handle it cleanly. Falkhead involved. Now Cochrane again just floats it up the line. Charlson could have marked, but all's well that ends well with Sard. Mark dropped there by Monaghan. Just opens the door for Sullivan, who's able to scoop it out to West. In the Howes direction, inside 50. Buller and Laverty couldn't quite work it out between themselves. Now it's the Blues' turn to be under pressure in defensive 50, but they work it out, and now it's with Camporeale.
He's able to hold on to the mark there, which I'm sure all the coaches were hoping for either team to just take a mark and get a bit of breath back. There's a few errors in a row there as both teams just working the kinks out here in the first quarter. Acres coming out with the football. We'll send them inside or just outside. Forward 50. Couldn't quite keep it in. Could Flynn Young an opportunity? Because if that was just a little bit more inside, the Blues look to be out inside forward 50, but some skill errors from both sides just letting them down. 23 and a half minutes into it. 11 plays 4, so sure it'll open up soon. Hewitt tried to run onto it. Gray applying some pressure, did well as the Pies just kept going for these long bombs. It's not working out as Charlson sat under that one. This will be his 10th disposal and 3rd mark, Harry Charlson. So he's had a stellar start to this contest. Cooper Lord, he's had a bit of the footy as well. Just too much of a low driving kick, and the Collingwood defence able to hold on to it through Swadling. Swadling's 9th disposal as well. So a lot of the defenders racking up plenty of the footy. Lord will get his hands back on it. Sullivan applying the pressure and did so nicely. Tried to find Chesser, but instead coming out with it was Harrison. And they've turned it over. It's just been that kind of quarter as the Blues somehow emerge with it. And right to Jath. And that one was smothered. Jath will get his hands back on it. Can anyone get a clean look at this football? Sammartino did well to somehow get that one out. To the top of the square here for the Blues. They've got numbers forward of it. O'Keefe trying to wrangle up some possession. Quaynor involved with the pressure. Did well in defence. Did Bryn Teakle as the Pies look to repel.
Ryan's handball into the path of Laverty. On debut tonight from the Wangaratta Magpies, but he's kicked it straight to Boyd, who's going to take a moment. Chips it short. So the Blues looking to get a deep entry inside 50. Teagle first hands to it. Swaddling feeds it back. All the way back now to Max Marnie, last line of defence. Takes on a couple of would-be tacklers. Dangerous handball in the direction of Cochrane, who's coughed it up. Camporeale to Ison, who misses with the miracle snap attempt.
Yeah, tough chance there. I'll tell you what, though, there's a lot to like about Jack Ison. Had the 3 goals, 2 last week. Number 47 in last year's draft from the Oakley Chargers. It's normally Collingwood that wrangles up all the Oakley prospects, but the Blues managed to get one of them. There's Jath. There's been a lot of goals, so there's probably not long left here in this first quarter, although it was pretty stoppage heavy to start it. Can the Pies try pinch one late? They've certainly deserved one for some of their efforts as Buller trying to get it out the back of the contest. Sard's had a good couple of minutes, and there we go. A 26-minute quarter in the Smithies VFL, Michael. I'm not sure I've ever seen it that low before. Peter McKenna would be very...
The Blues, Collingwood 4 behind. As we get ready for the second term, here's Austin Kruger.
So Riley and Smith in the ruck. Blues going to the right of your dial. Riley will get the clearance as well. Just hacked it out of the pack towards half forward. Good attacking the football from Moyer. Just wasn't quite clean enough. DeBolfo's handball will be turned over. Get another look at it. Will the Blues kick inside? Not the greatest. We're hoping for the boundary line, but not quite. Cochrane going through hands. Parker wrapped up in the tackle. The Blues pressure, has to say, has been quite good for the first quarter and a little bit. Flynn Young on that occasion laying the tackle. He's going pretty well at VFL level this year as Young. Going to about 3 goals a game. As the Blues trying to get it out, but Smith, the ruck, left him to go for the handball. There's Young again. Just had to release it due to the pressure from the Collingwood back line. Ball hits ground level. Somehow it does slip out towards Moyer. Had the fumble initially, but backs it up with a good tackle on DeBolfo. Umpire just letting this one go, waiting to see if it'll slip out, but not quite meant to be. So Sam Swaddling leading all comers with 12 disposals for the Pies. As I think Akers was hoping for a deliberate... I believe he's going to get it too. So the Collingwood player just handballed it pretty much directly out of bounds. So we've already seen a couple of deliberates paid, resulting in some shot opportunities for the Blues. It will be Blake Akers who's going to go inboards. And a good option as well to try and just open up the angles. Not by a hell of a lot though. To try and get the first of the second quarter and the first 2 of the game. Here for the Blues, right on the paint of 50. Looks okay off the boot and just misses to the left. I believe this, it was Ben Camporeale who just missed that one to the left as the Pies will bring it out from defence. Risky kick though, and it'll be turned over. So Carlton just locking this one in. So Charlson, apologies, Flynn Young. Both got the green boots on tonight, so we touched on him before, Flynn Young. Had 3 goals, 2 against the Kangas a couple of weeks back. Going at 3 goals a game so far in the 2026 Smithies VFL season. But try and change the tune on the scoreboard. Get them away from these nasty behinds. 1 goal, 7. Currently on the scoreboard. At a 45-metre kick, tough angle here at Icon Park, but if anyone could do it, it'll be Flynn Young with the form he's in here in the Smithies VFL. Beautiful off the boot. You can hear the scream straight away. The Carlton players get around him from everywhere. And a nice start to the second term. Some good forward 50 pressure. And Flynn Young nails the Blues' second of this game.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Austin. He's been in terrific goal-kicking form. 6 goals, 2 from 2 games. And he's kicked 3 in each, averaging 17 touches a game as well. Played 8 games in the AFL for the Blues last year after being the 4th pick in last year's mid-season draft. But for all that's gone wrong at Carlton so far this year, the injury list is not one of them. Only 2 on the injury list at the moment. Harry O'Farrell and Jesse Motlop, both with both rehabbing ACLs. They're at different stages in their recovery, but plenty to pick from for Michael Voss. And that's how someone like George Hewitt ends up playing in the VFL as he kicks inside 50. Difficult one to handle. That was DeBolfo who was trying to get it out of there. Now Saad just hooks it around the corner, and it's almost worked out to Fogarty, who's able to gather in the pocket. Corralled by Ryan. Kick in ball, not so good though. Straight to McGuinness, who, speaking of ACL recoveries, is almost all the way back from his. Set to play the majority of game time tonight. Here's Billy Wilson, shrugs off the Sullivan tackle attempt. Harvey, one of the 5 VFL-listed Blues out there tonight. Monaghan, the Irishman. Round the corner was clever for Hewitt. Camporeale, a lot of disposals without really going anywhere. Now they take ground through Monaghan and Ison, who's led a long way up the ground. But he's forced to hold it up. Was a prolific ball winner in the under-18s, Ison. Now playing as a lead-up forward. Offhands inside 50. Ryan's hands were good. Now it's Folkhead.
Yeah, nice kick there from DeBolfo as well, out of defence. It's been a VFL stalwart. Just putting Ryan under pressure. The old 1-2 as the Pies hit again. It's just these long down the line kicks, but well done there from Charlie West. Getting the spoil, at least forcing that one to ground. To get a boundary throw in. Slightly forward to centre wing here for the Pies, who haven't had a heck of a lot of the footy in their forward half of the ground here in this second term. And haven't kicked a goal so far in this contest. A tap down, potentially taken without it there was Prendable, and then just dragged back in nicely there. Playing the tackle, George Hewitt. He's up to 9 disposals. Swaddling with 12 and 11 for Jacob Ryan and Reef McInnes. So positive signs there for the Pies. Josh Brown getting his hand on the footy. Another disposal for Swaddling. Bit of a grubber due to the Carlton pressure. Initial fumble from Cottrell, but did well. Now with Ben Camporeale finding Fogarty. So a few of the AFL listed talent, which is basically the whole team really, all linking up there. But the kick inside couldn't quite find Hudson O'Keefe. It was DeBolfo coming in over the top with the spoil, and the 2 backline players just getting around each other there, celebrating the little wins, which the Pies have to do at the moment. So there's not a lot of attacking going on. So another boundary throw in. Deep inside the Blues forward 50. Ryan and Smith tap down there, picked up on ground level. He's going to go across the face. It was touched off the boot, I believe, and it's going to be a push in the back, coming back to the Pies. So it'll be Parker to bring him out of defence.
Mentioned earlier, started the season in the AFL side. Dropped after round 1 to Ryan, whose lone AFL game came back in 2023. Harvey got first hand to it, but only as far as Max Marnie, who paddled it along the boundary line. Wilson did well using the body. Got it to Boyd, and now Saad, who just took it with the one arm and started to go. Hewitt fans it out wider for Akers. Has support in Charlson. Disposal number 11 coming up for him. Back to Akers, who just finesses the kick inside 50. Thumped away defensively. O'Keefe trying to keep it alive unsuccessfully. Swaddling up to 13 touches. Ryan 12. Charlson, Saad have 11, as does Reef McInnes. Akers and Hewitt each with 10. Hewitt already 5 clearances as it's thrown in. Clever tap results in a behind for the Blues. 2 goals, 8 they are now. 4 behinds, Collingwood.
You mentioned the clearances for Hewitt. They are winning the clearance count. 12-5 at the moment are the Blues. Another poor kick there from Collingwood coming out of defence. It's how Carlton's been able to get a lot of their scores. And well done, finding the big fella right in front of the goal square. And O'Keefe was able to very calmly Just popped that one through after Flynn Young set him up. So yet again, it is the 4 exits coming down to defence on the Pies, resulting in a couple of goals here in this second term for the Blues, who stretched this out to a 22-point margin. They've got the only 3 goals of this contest.
Mentioned coming into this one, both sides 1-1. Collingwood with a win over Coburg 2 weeks ago. That coming after a loss to GWS in round 2. And for the Blues, they lost 2 weeks ago. In fact, I should say Carlton 0-2, not 1-1. Got myself confused there. A close loss to Williamstown at this venue in round 2, and then another close loss by 11 points to the Roos on Good Friday. From the restart, Camporeale the clearance. That was Ben into the path of Flynn Young, who left it behind. Swaddling now taking on tacklers. Doesn't have much presenting up forward, so he's forced to go to a one-on-one. Harvey did well defensively for the Blues. Akers able to stand tall in the tackle. He's turned it over, though, to Swaddling, who in turn turns it back over to Young. And the Blues are away once again. Akers able to find a target at half forward. Hudson O'Keefe. 7 touches against the Crows at Gather Round last week. Inside 50. It's thumped over and out. And that's really all Collingwood can do right now. Let's hope to withstand the Carlton pressure. Being well outplayed around the ground. Really struggling to get it in there, attacking 50.
Yeah, it feels like they haven't had a inside forward 50 this whole quarter. So another boundary throw inside forward 50 here. Flynn Young, he's had a good second quarter, applying some good pressure, nearly able to cause the turnover, lays the tackle as well, so some repeat efforts. And as you said, Michael, it's just the Carlton pressure that's putting them on top at the moment. So just hugging the boundary line. It'll be tossed back up. Flynn Riley got somewhat of a tap. Josh Brown under pressure, just had to hope for the best with that kick. And there for the Blues is Jordan Boyd, who does turn his back to goal immediately and says, "Don't worry about it, boys, I've got it." We did see a nice one kicked from this spot from Flynn Young earlier in the quarter. So can Jordan Boyd recreate the same heroics? He's not quite a noted goal scorer. Does most of his work in defence. And there's to extend the buffer by even more. 50 metres out. Tough angle. Certainly went very high up in the sky here at Icon Park. Won't have the distance, but a free kick going the way of the Blues. Going to the big fella, Flynn Riley.
I think his size just caused some of the Collingwood defenders to panic.
He's been pretty good tonight, Flynn Riley. 6 disposals, 2 clearances, 16 hit-outs, a few tackles. Boy out of the Northern Knights comes in. Slight angle, and a nice set shot. The tall timber gets it done for the Blues. Flynn Riley's on the board, the late inclusion. I know the boys love it as they continue to push this lead out. 4-8-32. Plays the Pies, just the 4 behinds.
3-0 in the term. It was an 8-point Carlton lead at quarter time. Lockie Fogarty, the only goal scorer of quarter number 1. Collingwood just can't seem to get it inside forward 50 at the minute. 19-12, the forward 50 count for the Blues. That was 12 apiece at quarter time, I believe. So 7 inside 50s to none in this quarter Carlton's way. They're also dominating the clearances, 14-6. They've just had more of the footy in general as well. So what can Collingwood come up with? Here's Sullivan in the middle. Gun in this competition, as we know, for a long time now. Goes in and gets another touch. Fed it out to Gray. Quainer taking on tacklers. Wasn't convincing, though. Chesser was able to dispossess him. And a free kick against Parker for high tackle. Going to Lord. Gets it to Chesser. Another one who started the year in the AFL side, now finds himself playing VFL footy inside 50. O'Keefe decided to leave it for his smaller teammates to go and get it. Hewitt forced to lay the tackle. But again, the Blues dominating territory. They've got it right where they want it. O'Keefe wins a hit out. Umpire says, give it to me. Hewitt again on the bottom of the pack. Second term's been all Carlton. Dispossessed by Swadling and quick kick away, only as far as Sammartino. Boyd. Taken high by Howes. They've just got that wall set up across the half-back and centre lines, the Blues. Boyd into the pocket for O'Keefe. Fist comes from Teakle.
Yes, well done there from Teakle. Collingwood backline under siege at the moment for the first 15 minutes of this second quarter. I believe yet to have an inside forward 50, the Pies, and yes, they have conceded 3 goals, but the likes of DeBolfo, Teakle have come in for some good spoils, and the Blues will want to try and capitalise a touch more on all of their momentum. As Brady Gray, again, just has to hope for the best with these spray and praise out of defensive 50. Sammartino playing some good pressure. Will come in on Brown to lay the tackle, just getting the handball out in the nick of time. Taken into the turf here is Jack Buller and will be pinned for holding the ball. So another opportunity for the Blues. Hewitt does have 2 behinds to his name already. Imagine he'll try set this one up. It's exactly what he does. Into the pocket it goes. Collingwood with the old over-the-shoulder handball into a dangerous area. Might just work out, although Josh Brown was met in the tackle. Cooper Lord has had a solid start to this Smithies VFL contest. Goes across the face, trying to change up the angles here for the Blues. Blake Acres now with a bit of composure, sending them inside forward 50. It nearly just slipped past absolutely everyone, but they've just got a slight hand on it as Lord will set it up to the top of the square. But Quaynor in defence taking the interception.
Looking just like Big Brother there, taking the relieving mark in defence to Parker. And finally, the Pies have been able to generate some run. Here's Howes. Only target inside 50 is Teakle. He goes in that direction. Forced to contend with a couple. Does really well. Bryn Teakle from deep in the pocket. He dribbles it. And that was almost Collingwood's first goal of the game. But it feels like it's going to take something spectacular for the Pies to get on the board.
And we've just felt a bit of a breeze come into the commentary box as well, Pep. So maybe conditions slightly worse or getting worse than we initially thought. As playing on there was Billy Wilson. He wanted to go one way and he'll get the 1-2 back. Billy Wilson. He's up to 10 disposals. It's a piercing kick into the middle of Icon Park. Worked it out nicely towards high half forward. Got players open aplenty, do the Blues. Fogarty involved into the pocket. And that's beautiful end-to-end football there from the Carlton Football Club. And it's going to be Flynn Young. He just has his eyes darting around, but there wasn't any option. So he'll go back himself and take matters into his own hands. He's been very good in this second quarter, Flynn Young. He's kicked one. He's set up his other tall forward in Hudson O'Keefe. And just as Collingwood look to get their first major, within a matter of seconds, the Blues take it end-to-end. Can push this lead to 33 points, nearing time on in the second quarter. 7-2 on the year, including tonight for Flynn Young. Will be right behind this kick. Beautiful set shot, straight over the goal umpire's hat. That's his second for the term, and set up the other one, so he's having some kind of quarter as the Blues go out to a 33-point lead.
Well, he's on track for his 3 goals again tonight, isn't he? Kicked 3 goals in both games so far this season, Flynn Young. And he's off to a good start once again.
Of course, former Werribee player, Flynn Young. The Newtown and Chilwell, good footy stock down there. Very
much so. Always able to find good players. So a free kick to Flynn Riley as Buller crossed the line in the ruck. One of Carlton's goal kickers tonight. He just bangs it long. Target is Ison. Got hands to it. Spills out towards Tucker, who's able to finish cleverly. And that's now the first 6 to the Blues. And they're building a commanding lead.
For the first time tonight, if it's well, it feels, Michael, they're able to kick goals in quick succession.
Yep.
A lot of the time there's been 5 to 10 minutes in between goals, but really starting to get a run on now. And as we sort of touched on, capitalise on all the momentum that they've built here in this second term.
And that momentum is considerable. Anytime he can kick 6 goals on the trot, certainly contributes to that. It's now a 39-point game. So Collingwood have dug themselves a big hole.
They do have Teakle back into the ruck, so it might help out their efforts in these centre clearances, although the Blues get their first hands on it. Just a bit of a paddle towards the interchange. Sullivan did well to force a turnover. Brady Gray just getting a kick away. We'll go back to the Blues. Lord looking inboards over the top of Sard's head, but I'll say that's exactly how they drew it up. Flynn Riley showing you can hand pass to a big fella. Has done well. Chesser worked it out through Camperali, and Cooper Lord involved as well. Nice kick, finding Fogarty. Looking for 7 on the trot are the Blues into time on in this second term. Fogarty got them going with their first major, and it's going to be DeBolfo going back and holding on to the interception. So a bit of class and composure shown in defensive 50 here for the Pies. But yet again, Peps, it looks like they'll have to go for the long bomb down the line.
Buller's there, so too West. Offhands, Harry Marnie in for his first game of the season. He's dragged over and out.
Yeah, plus 35 on disposals now with the Blues. Also plus 18 on tackles, Michael. So normally if you're winning the disposal count, you're not winning the tackle count by that much. So some concerning numbers all across the face for the Pies.
Plenty for Matty Locken to address at half-time. They've kicked 5 goals to this term, the Blues, after 1-6 in the first quarter. And here's another clearance going their way. Ben Camporeale kicked blindly in the end. No one home except Brady Gray, co-captain of this Collingwood VFL team alongside Ben DeBolfo for season 2026. Again, it's all just static up the line ball movement from the Pies. And Carlton are winning all of these contests. Akers going a long way back for Sard, who's got Wilson as a handball option. Now to Duffy. And the full switch being affected now to Charlson. Working out aside. Here's Tucker. Kicked the last goal for the Blues. Just overcooked the kick a little bit for Young, who got a hand to it, so it'll be a throw-in.
So can the Pies get anything going in the latter stage of this second term? It's been one-way traffic in favour of the Navy Blue. All the action live on afl.com.au with the Smithies VFL season as Buller. Happy to see that one over the line. We'll toss it back in. So Sam Swadling for the Pies is leading all comers on the ground with 17 disposals. Cooper Lord next best with 16, go along with 4 tackles. Blake Akers up to the 15 as well, but it's felt like a real team effort from the Blues. Everyone has had a hand in this 39-point advantage. There's just a few repeat stoppages on the outer side. It's either been Carlton getting all of the entries. What feels like a pretty heavy stoppage game as well. at least from what we're used to seeing with all the new rule changes in 2026. As Gray had a 2-on-1, did well to bring it to ground. Ryan wrapped up immediately, spills it towards Akers, who didn't give up but couldn't quite lay the tackle. I'll work it out through hand. Jath under pressure. Again, it's the Blues' intensity just forcing these Collingwood errors. And the umpire's getting ready to fling those arms out, so maybe this can be something to get them going here. Max Marnie nearly came off his line and in the end finds Jath. Thought about going through hands. Maybe need to go forwards, just try something different or hope for something courageous down the line. Howes will be the target. Just bounced off the head there by the looks of the Carlton player in Duffy, and will work out. Howes over the top through hand. Can this finally be the moment? Harry Marnie involved. Handball over the top. Back in boards. And well done. Excellent work getting back in defence there from the Blues. Now George Hewitt trying to repel this ball, which they haven't had to do a hell of a lot here in this second quarter or throughout the game. Dane Harvey with a kick to the outer side. Was O'Keefe pushed in the back. Umpire says not. Swaddling picks it up. Bit of a check side back in towards Marnie. Nice, smart little tap forward. Can he swing this back for the Blues? It's just hit the woodwork. It looked as though Harry Marnie was going to create some heroics, and we do have a Carlton player down.
Yeah, it's Lucas Camporeale. So he was the one who affected that smother on Quaynor, or the spoiler, I should say, on Quaynor earlier, and he was writhing in pain afterwards. Still yet to get up as the trainers have come out to him now, and we've stopped play.
Might have had the wind taken out of him. Well, hopefully that's all the concern.
But he does appear to be in some discomfort at the very least.
It was a courageous spoil going back with the flight, and really it looked as though Quaynor was going to be able to take a chest mark 30 metres out straight in front, but it goes to show the efforts from Camporeale and most of this Carlton outfit tonight, Peps, just their pressure and wants and hunger, both offensively and defensively, has really been modus operandi this 38-point lead, so hopefully all the best for the young man. Just though he's getting back on his feet now.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Austin, they've done so much right tonight. Their desire, their intensity, their effort has just been outstanding as Camporeale has gotten up. Looks very sore, though. But they've done, as you said, just so much right so far in this game. 1 goal, 6 at quarter time, so they didn't quite get the reward on the scoreboard, but this quarter they've cleaned up their goal kicking, 5 goals, 2, and they've really kicked away from the Pies approaching half-time.
So he's back on his feet and is coming to the interchange on his own accord, so that is a positive sign at least. Potentially maybe some ribs, shoulder, or just a really bad taking the wind right out of him situation. So we'll monitor that to see if he does re-enter tonight, as we'll resume play.
So it's going to be Charleston to take the kick in. 9th pick in the 2024 rookie draft. Brother Lockie playing at Werribee this season. Takes a couple of bounces before going to a contest. Riley, the tall timber. Kept in by Buller, and wasn't the wisest idea. Akers the beneficiary of the free kick. Swaddling's got 18 touches. Lord 17. Akers, this will be number 16. McGuinness tried to get a ride, but difficult on someone as tall as Riley. Fogarty to an open forward 50. Couple of Pies have dropped back. One of those, Brady Gray, couldn't complete the mark, which just made life a bit more difficult and made the exit even harder. Ben Camporeale into the Flynn Riley direction. Not going anywhere is the big man.
Good effort there from Charleston as well. Looked like it was just about to pop up over his head and allow Collingwood to get their hands back on it, but did well to jump up as Riley's just had a fresh airy, trying to get the clearance. So another repeat stoppage, late stage second term. Just outside half forward here for the Blues. Riley winning the tap out yet again. He's had 18 of them already tonight. Hewitt, with a bit of a tinky little snap inside forward 50. Fogarty did get the front positioning back on his opponent there in Reef McInnes, but the Vanju line does beat out. As the Blues are searching for their first win of the 2026 Smithies VFL season. As you mentioned, Michael, a 5-point loss to Williamstown, which feels like a lifetime ago. And then an 11-point defeat to North Melbourne. Collingwood currently 1-1 after they let the GWS Giants have quite the comeback on them earlier in the season. And then a pretty convincing win against Coburg at Barry Plant Park a couple of weeks back. And some very swirly conditions. So again, a few repeat stoppages. Just hasn't quite been the free-flowing affair that we may have hoped for so much AFL-listed talent, as Ben Cambriali laying a nice tackle and will be rewarded with the free kick.
He's got a couple of kicks from goal. His 15th touch coming up. Sets it up for the Flyers. Riley used his body well. Offhands Giath, coughed it straight up to Tucker, and playing in front, Ison. Well, it wasn't pretty, but it was effective. Collingwood leaving open spaces at the top of the square. And Jack Ison can capitalise. '47th pick in last year's draft. Represented Vic Metro. NGA product for the Blues. Kicks the goal. And they've got the first 7 now in this one.
Yeah, as you said, Peps wasn't the prettiest of plays, but just that surge mentality forward. And Jack Ison, in his third game within the Smithies VFL, now kicked the 6 goals already. Of course, the Carlton NGA recruit as well. Actually played with a couple of current Blues with his time at Scotch College as well. Cooper Lord and Jagger Smith being a couple of those. So he's already pretty well acquainted with a few of the lads, and he certainly looks like at least VFL ready. In 3 games, he's been quite the star. As Adam Sard has made a move into the centre here for the Blues, looking to continue the damage here. Can the Pies get something going? Goalless so far, 6 behinds, and again, just those hat kicks. Monahan on this occasion was able to mop up that mark fairly easy. A good grab going back with a flight here from Logan. One of the inclusions today through hand, putting Akers under pressure back towards Charleston, who's been fairly good tonight, but had a lot of work to do trying to keep that one inboards. And it's going to come back to Charleston by the looks of it for a bit of contact after the kick. So everything just going the way of the Blues. Charleston will go inboards. The forwards weren't quite ready for it, and Collingwood eventually will be paid the mark. Josh Brown can try open things up here for the Pies.
First game of 2026 for him. Averaged about 20 touches a game last year. No one got a touch on that, so it'll be free kick to the Blues. Monahan concedes ground for Boyd, who tries to change up the angles, and it's a beautiful kick to Lord. Moves it on quickly. All on his own is Akers. DeBolfo did well to get there. In fact, it was McInnes. But the recovery from the Blues was good, and it results in a mark deep in the pocket to O'Keefe, who's going to kick after the siren and can join Flynn Young on 2 goals and get 4 points heading into the third term. Carlton's AFL-listed brigade have had plenty of it.
Yeah, they certainly have, Michael. They've been excellent tonight. But can the Pies get the hot start here in the second half, get their first goal as well? Woden was able to shrunk past the tackle to Brady Gray. Now Forkhead trying to run onto the football. Fumbled it initially. Was able to just turn back indoors. Kick-in boards will be picked off there from the Blues. Must have been touched off the boot, so mark will not be claimed. So thrown back up straight away. Teakle won the tap. It was directly to Lucas Cambriali, who's back on the field after the incident in the second quarter where it looked like he potentially had hurt some ribs or a shoulder, but might have just been the wind taken out. So good to see him back on the field as spelled out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. And goal scorers so far for the Blues, 2 to Flynn Young, and then singles to Flynn Riley, Darcy Tucker, Hudson O'Keefe, Jack Ison and Lockie Fogarty, who got them going with the first in the first quarter.
It was a 6-goal quarter for the Blues after managing just one themselves in the first. Umpires have decided this is a last disposal free kick going against Collingwood. Akers with disposal number 20, which is the most on the ground, to Hewitt, who has 16. Now Campbell Chesser, first round pick of the Eagles a few years ago, moved home to Victoria for season 2026. And that was a well-placed kick inside 50. Allowed Hudson O'Keefe to use his body and take the grab. Difficult shot of goal coming up though, if he elects to take it. Decides to set it up instead. Ison's there, gets through everyone in the end. And Lucas Camporeale has it stripped and it'll be out of bounds.
It was nearly the fly there from Ison, but saw the Blues just able to lock the ball inside their forward 50 in the second term and create a lot of scoring. 7 goals to zit as they've got it deep inside. And Collingwood do win the clearance out. Not a lot forward of the ball, so they'll have to go through hand. Falkhead, who's had a couple of touches to start this one, into space, hoping Max Marnie couldn't run onto it, but it's going to be the Blues yet again through Harvey. Now Charlson is able to cause the turnover. I was just trying to fake him out with a handball. It's just there night as Hewitt will send him inside forward 50. Brady Gray going back with a flight, holding on to a good mark, has been fairly instrumental for them in defence as Brady Gray. It's just this aspect of the game that all night they've had to go for these long down the line. At least Gray was able to get a couple of extra metres, selling some candy on the mark, but the Blues will come out with the football again. Chesser involved. He's had a good start. Falkhead had the initial fumble, worked out towards Sullivan. Through hands. Charlie West trying to get on the end of it. Just a few fumbles letting them down, but they're still surging it forward any way they can. They've got a player open in the pockets, and that could be a 50-metre penalty as well. A bit of contact after the kick, and it's going to be Aliro Smith waltzed into the goal square for what you would think is the first major of this contest. There's still a bit of push and shove happening, and Smith making sure that he makes no mistake. And through 2 quarters and now 3 minutes and 45 seconds, the Collingwood Football Club finally get their first goal through Smith after some good transition end-to-end football. So 1-6-12 they move to, still trailing by 38 points.
Well, maybe that can be the start of something. As you mentioned, Austin, they were finally able to get a little bit of speed on their ball movement, working it by hand and linking up to where they had an open forward 50 with Smith at the top of the square. But even to get to that point, it was just another long kick to a contest, and that happened to work out in their favour. But it's been just kicking station to station all night for the Pies, and that's why they've struggled to score to this point. We'll see if they can maybe fix that up. Starts in the middle as well, heavily beaten in the clearances in the opening half. They won't get this one as Riley was pushed in the back. Handball to Wilson. Charlson. Link up to Lord. All on his own inside 50 is Tucker. Able to wade through the traffic and concede some ground back to Charlson. And his kick straight to Teakle, who got back to fill the hole. So this is better from Collingwood. In the Marnie direction. 2-on-2 contest. Ends up with it now, Max Marnie. And again, here's a bit more run on the outer side of the ground for the Pies. Smith, the target of the kick, and there was a miscommunication there because it's gone straight to Boyd, who wastes no time going corridor.
Finding Hewitt. He's looking to release it quickly through hand, but too many black and white Guernseys around it. Now, the Blues through Monaghan. Down the line. Is there going to be a push or good craft to the marking contest? It will be a push. And it could be a 50-metre penalty as well. Umpire looks as though he'll give the benefit of the doubt there to Ben DeBolfo. Don't often see that. So it'll come back here to Darcy Tucker. Does have a goal to his name. Kicked a nice snap on the run in that second term, did Tucker. I'll put it towards the tall timber. The Carlton forward line just slips out the back of the contest. Nearly there for Young. Was just going too quick for his own good almost. Fogarty did well to funnel out the handball. The snap from Young, it's just going to go directly up into the sky. Brady Gray just goes for the hammer fist down. The umpire might be calling to throw this one up as Riley was down on the ground. Players looked a little confused as well. But it will be thrown up. Deep inside the pocket here for the Blues. Can they get there first of the second half? Nice chase down tackle there from Fogarty. Just towing with the boundary line. It will be taken. Ball slips out. Just not giving up are the Blues. Moya was waiting for it and then taken straight away from Marnie, and Jath involved as well. Just a bit of a rugby scrum came out. Didn't quite have possession of the football. Wrapped up. Umpire will blow the whistle across the arms to signal a stoppage.
Acres 20 disposals now. Charleston, Hewitt, Lord and Swadling all with 18. Cleared from defensive 50 by the Pies, but it's coming straight back. Cottrell. Congested 50. Hoiks it high. McGuinness from a long way back. Spoiled in the end by Gray. It's going to work out for Collingwood as they're able to get out of danger. Buller trying to draw the front on contact free kick, and he gets it from the non-officiating umpire. They needed that, the Pies, because Buller was outnumbered. The Blues have had some time to get back, though. So Buller's going to have to, again, just go long to a contest, hoping for the best. O'Keefe's dropped back defensively and was able to mark unencumbered in the end. They effect the switch, the Blues. Into the path here of Tucker, who keeps it alive, but not for long. Resultant free kick will be taken by Bryan. In fact, he's got to go back behind his line and take it again. So he just does the same thing. Back to DeBolfo. McGuinness on a lead. Next target is Harvey Harrison. Another Magpie making a return from an ACL injury. His was late 2024. McGuinness, who's been one of the Pies' best. Again, long to a contest. O'Keefe was in the area. Harvey as well. Lands in Collingwood hands. Ugly looking check side, and the only player there is Charleston.
So we disposed on number 19 for Charleston. It was a slightly better build up there from the Pies, but I'd like to see him at least try go for the maybe kick backwards, concede a bit of ground to try switch the play. We haven't seen a lot of it as Adam Sard was just forced to go towards Moya. Nice grab. Looked inboards. Beautiful kick finding Hewitt. Thought about reeling that one in from 50, but instead kicks it to the big fella Flynn Riley. He's got a couple of players in the goal square. Well done in defence, though, from the Pies. Bit of desperation. I believe it was Teakle who got a hand on it. Might have hurt his ribs as well. So an opportunity there for the Blues to get their first of the second half. That was well defended there from the Pies, who'll look to go capitalise through the corridor.
Long up the guts. Buller from 3 deep, got hands to it. Ball lodged in between a few players. So Teagle's recovered and is going to contest this stoppage against O'Keefe. Hewitt able to get the hands free to Ben Camporeale, who turns and sends it to the one-on-ones inside 50. Reading it well was Moyer. Just outpositioned McGuinness and did well against a player who's bigger and stronger than he is.
Yeah, had a marker a couple of minutes ago as well, Peps, where it just showed some really good craft as the smaller player in the contest to just gain that position and own the zone.
Turned 21 2 days ago, Ashton Moyer. 12 AFL games. And he's able to put this one through. So the Blues respond to Collingwood's first goal of this third term. Courtesy of Ashton Moyer. And the margin is back to 45 points.
Yeah, just dominating all aspects of this contest. 264 to 205 is the disposal count, plus 19 in inside forward 50s for the Blues, plus 13 in clearances, plus 29 in marks, also plus 19 in tackles, which we touched on, Peps, there. Normally when you're winning the disposal count by that much, the other team should be laying a few more tackles than that, but it's been a disappointing night so far for the Pies. As the Blues 8-9-57 leading 1-6-12 live on afl.com.au and the AFL Live official app. Says Chesser couldn't quite. Well done from Sullivan, showing some clean work on the grass. Falkhead involved in the play as well. He's got a 2-on-2 down the line in the marking contest. It's going to go against Jack Buller. It's been that kind of night for Buller. Duffy will be rewarded with the free kick. And moves it on quickly to the outer side here at Icon. There's a bit of a gale just coming up in towards the commentary box, so imagine there's some blistery conditions on ground level for the players. And well done from DeBolfo out the back. He's been one of the better players for the Pies, along with this man, Sam Swadling, which this will be disposal number 19, and put the Moz on him well and truly. Another turnover as the Blues towards Lockie Fogarty. Had plenty of space inside forward 50. A couple of Pies have just dropped back, but the Blues running in numbers. And he's just faked out a few times as if he was going to kick inboards, but will take matters into his own hands. Will Lockie Fogarty. So as the Pies trying to go for at least a bit more of an attacking play, but just couldn't quite pull that corridor kick off. And the Blues very quickly off the turnover, running back in numbers. Lockie Fogarty looking for his second goal in the evening. Tough angle here. 45 metres out. It's nearly marked. Is the umpire going to pay it? No, he's not. I reckon that was an absolute wobbler of a kick. And in the end, just another minor score.
Swadling to take the kick in. Was an absolute ball magnet at Waffle Colts level last year. 35 touches a game. That wasn't his best, but the Pies were able to work it out a defensive 50. Cochrane ran into a brick wall, had to go backwards to Brown. Swadling another touch. That's better to Gray. Gives off the quick release handball to Brown. This looks much better from a Collingwood perspective. Through the hands of Falkhead, who's able to ride the tackle, closes to within 40, and that is brilliant. The Pies' best passage of the night ends in a goal to Oscar Falkhead.
Yeah, beautifully called there, Peps. The Pies just finally able to put a little bit of speed on the ball, getting some handball receives, and we can see the results in their 2 goals this quarter.
Well, they needed that, didn't they?
Certainly did.
Even just to give themselves the confidence that they can actually do that, because they haven't done it all night, and it's been a real struggle for Collingwood just to get from defensive 50 to attacking 50. It's been a real struggle, but they show they're able to do it. Swadling's second kick in that chain was really the one that opened up the ground. And Gray, he's an experienced footballer. just able to get the handball off, and off they went.
So 2-1 now in this third quarter. After the Pies went one half of football without scoring a major, so some better signs. Lead still sits at 40 points, but they will get the ball out of the centre here at Icon Park. Down the line, one-on-one contest. Buller did bring the ball to ground. Little soccer off the deck there from Duffy. Wrapped up immediately was Camperali from the tackle of Brady Gray. And as you said, just a bit of a team lift to that goal. You can already see a few of the Pies players have lifted a touch, a bit of push and shove, so they're showing a little bit of emotion, a bit of fight here in the second half. Can that show on the scoreboard as well, but the Blues able to work it out nicely. Akers, 2-on-1. Can it stay in for them? Ison beautifully runs onto the football. Will look inboards with the kick. Great vision. Beautiful passage of play again off half back, just going end to end. And they'll line up with a relatively textbook set shot here for the Blues. 35, 40 metres out, straight in front.
That left foot of Jack Ison really is a weapon, isn't it? We've seen it a couple of times tonight in his ability to create opportunities for teammates in front of goal.
So can they get the instant response through Camperali? The scene of where he injured himself in the second quarter, but just misses to the right. So Ben Camperali's now got two behinds, and Lucas hit the board with a behind for himself as well, so haven't quite been able to hit the scoreboard of the brothers as DeBolfo will work it out to the half-back line here for the Pies.
To Giath. Can the Pies work it in transition once again? Handball inside to Swadling, who's continued to run after taking the initial kick in. Through traffic, they're making it difficult for themselves. Prindable runs into a brick wall. So not quite as smooth that time, but they have worked it almost to half forward. Smith with the hit out. Prindable again. Ridden into the turf by Lord.
His seventh tackle for Cooper Lord, 4 clearances, 18 disposals. He's been very solid tonight.
Knows no other way does Cooper Lord. Smith able to squeeze the kick forward. Only as far as Monaghan, though. Not a great handball from Sammartino. Kept in by Collingwood. Could be a mistake, but Brown able to get it to Parker. He's coughed it up straight to Cooper Lord. Messy play here on the outer side from both teams. Carlton able to regain control. Sard. Signing run through the corridor. Opens up the ground for Tucker with a handball that was as good as a kick. They're in to attack the Blues. Chance for Ison. Little fumble. Flynn Young. That's a picture-perfect kick. And Moya, not a picture-perfect mark, but takes it nonetheless. So that all started with Adam Sard's run and carry through the middle of the ground. Ends up with Moya, and that's his second of the term. Becomes Carlton's second multiple goal kicker alongside Flynn Young. And it's now a 47-point game. Which I believe is a game high.
Certainly right there, Michael. Led for the majority of this contest. Pies got the first few behinds of the game. Since then, it's been all the Blues, although 2 goals apiece at least in this third quarter. The Blues been able to respond each time after the Collingwood goal. Nearing time on here in the third quarter, holding the ball, free kick. It'll be advantage play on. Cooper Lord, one-on-one contest. Couldn't quite good Logan. The Blues going inboards through Young, who's been setting them up beautifully, and Ison just swoops in over the top and says, that's mine. He's had a couple of good leaps tonight and was able to hold on to it on this occasion. On a line up for his second. So Jack Ison, one of many Carlton players who have been on song this evening. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. This will be his 10th disposal to go along with 6 marks. Goal umpire did not budge. Turned around straight away. That's his second. Carlton's now got 3 multiple goal scorers. Jack Ison, Ashton Moyer and Flynn Young, who had a hand in that play as well, as the Blues go back to back with goals here in this third quarter. And the lead now out to 53 points.
Interesting type of player, Jack Ison, 192 centimetres, sort of that lead up forward type, maybe a third key forward. He's got a brilliant left foot, doesn't he? He's been able to convert in front of goal, but also in terms of his field kicking, looks a real prospect in his first season at the Blues. Can Collingwood win a clearance here? They do through Gray. Deep forward 50 entry. Off the hands of Teakle, but Carlton able to mop up comfortably. Wilson, who impressed over the pre-season before an injury. Chesser didn't quite find the target in Tucker. O'Keefe was able to stand tall in the tackle though. Hewitt likewise. Tucker, Camporeale, this is Ben, and it's a third behind for him on the evening. Outstanding passage by the Blues, but Camporeale just couldn't finish.
Yeah, they've had some dashing plays throughout this round 4 Smithy's VFL clash. The arch rivals. Well done, Blake Akers. Going back with the flight, holding on to a good mark. This be his 23rd disposal. Now to Boyd. Hewitt leading up at the football, gives it back to Boyd. The handball receives. They've been excellent for the Blues. Carlton tried to reel it in with the one hand, and that should be a free kick going back to them. Certainly will be, as Noah Howes has made the move deeper in defence. Wondering if that's just because we're getting towards the latter stage of the quarter, or maybe just trying to move the magnets around to get something going for the Pies. Marnie did well. Through hands, they build. Harrison to Sullivan, ran into a bit of trouble. Now with Teakle. Can he muster something up with a kick into the pocket? They've got the 2-on-1. Boyd lost his footing. Numbers arrive from the Carlton perspective, and Dane Harvey just taking that one over the line, but the black and white will get a throw in the 23-minute mark here of this third term.
Akers, Hewitt and Ben Camporeale all with 23 touches. Swaddling 22 for Collingwood. Josh Brown has 20. Folkhead next up with 15 as the Blues win another clearance. Ison almost with the big mark. Cochrane roving the pack. Sends it into attack and standing tall that time is Teakle.
He's starting to lift in this third quarter is Teakle. Had a good couple of moments and can potentially get them going here.
Lost his spot on the North Melbourne list at the end of 2025. Signed with Collingwood VFL. 3 goals, 1 on the season so far for Bryn Teakle. And that one's coming back, but not enough. So a behind for the Pies.
So Boyd has been on kick-out duties majority of the contest. Young been excellent tonight. We can just see the speed that Carlton want to play with. Get the handball receive. Back now, Will Charlson. And completely open now is Jack Ison, who's having a field day here in this third term. Took a nice mark, about 30 metres out, and capitalised on the set shot. He'll try to set this one up in the Hewitt direction, and that's just gone on the outside of the boot. It did bounce, first of all, inside forward 50. It's either going to be a lasso or deliberate. Some Pies just... It looked like it bounced first inside the defensive 50 here for the Pies, then went out of bounds. So I believe it's still going to be a lasso. I'll hold that thought.
I think it's at the point where the ball crosses the boundary line.
So Blake Acres tried chisel the kick in towards, straight in front of goal. Brady Gray just got a boot on it, but the umpire says that's holding the ball nonetheless, and it's going to be Ison yet again. He's just doing everything tonight, taking some good marks, applying some good pressure, setting up his teammates, and potentially about to kick his third goal of the evening. Looking for back-to-back games. Scoring 3 goals. He had the 3 against the Roos, along with 2 behinds. He's 2 goals, 1 this evening. Slight angle, 30-metre kick for the young man. Comes in after the holding the ball decision and just going slightly to the left. So 2-2 for Ison. And the Blues leading by 54 points.
Having himself a big night. Kick in long up the middle from Reef McGuinness, and it's marked by Smith. Collingwood looking to go quickly through the middle of the ground. Tajway Woden into attack. West forced to play behind and spoil. Carlton with plenty of numbers back. The pressure from Collingwood is good. Turnover affected. Max Marnie deserved the goal, kicks the goal.
Yeah, great work there from the Pies. Good forward 50 pressure, and also just looking to go a little bit more of the risky play coming out of defence there, Peps. They went the corridor kick. It was the long bomb, but Smith did well to bring it down and just able to get a few handball receives and put some pace on this. Sharon, you're in the third term. It's still pretty grim as far as the scoreboard is concerned, but some more positive signs at least for this Collingwood lineup.
Well, 3 goals apiece in the term. So Collingwood can at least take some solace in that fact.
We'll take it back to the middle. Smith winning the tap and the ground ball, and into the turf straight away from Cooper Lord. Umpire letting it go for a sec, but will just be the stoppage. The top 9 players on top of the stat list as far as the fantasy points concerned, all from a Carlton perspective. But they are building some momentum. Parker now over the top through hand. Can Marnie get his hands on another one? Shrugs past the tackle nicely. Goes back in boards. Beautiful kick under pressure. And good vision. As the Pies look like a whole different team here in this third quarter. And Prindable, who's had a fairly quiet night, will line up straight in front, 25, 30 metres out. Looking for his first goal within the Smithies VFL, 0-3 so far in his career. And there we go. He's got his first at the level. A nice moment for the young man. And the Collingwood players are aware about it as well. They get around him. And they are now leading the quarter 4-3 after the latest Printable set shot.
Yeah, first goal is a Magpie for Tyne Printable. Averaging 15 touches a game so far this season. Picked 32 in last year's draft. Out of the Brisbane Lions Academy. But the Lions, having used all their resources on Dan Annable, weren't able to match the pick. So he ends up a Magpie out of Cooperoo initially. Free kick Collingwood's way out of the middle. Advantage taken by Harvey Harrison, who drives it long and deep. And the mark is taken at the top of the square. Collingwood can get themselves 2 in a minute.
Thought he might have been squared up straight in front after contact as well there, Pep's. Got a bit of a clothesline by the looks of it.
He'll kick after the siren, so he's got to be careful if he's going around the corner, which he's shaping up to do. Can bring the margin back to 36 points. And he does just that after the 3/4 time siren. So the goal counts, and at 3/4 time, it is a 36-point Carlton lead, 10-13-73 to 5-7-37. 4 getting underway in the Smithies VFL. And here's Austin Kruger for the final term.
So nice fight back in the third term there from the Pies. Went goalless in the first half, but the Blues well and truly in control as Campbell Chesser laying the tackle. The highest rated player on the ground is George Hewitt. 23 disposals, 8 clearances, 6 tackles, 6 marks. So no surprises that Hewitt's right up there, but the Pies get a rare clearance in this one. Max Marnie has been one of the shining lights, you'd say, for the Pies to get a nice goal in the third quarter. Will set it up to potentially to his brother. Couldn't quite. A little snap. Just going slightly across the face there for the Pies, so couldn't quite get the hot start here in the third quarter. With some positive signs.
Adam Saad to bring it back into play. Just pops it short to Boyd. Has got a bit of a mist starting to fall at Icon Park. Fans flocking to the undercover stands. That'll make the Pies' task just that little bit more difficult. Ison, who's been so impressive tonight, somehow won the ball on all fours, dishes off the handball, and it will end up with Riley. Jack Ison's having some sort of night.
He's putting his name right on the map, is Ison, if he hasn't already, throughout the first couple rounds, a few rounds of the Smithies VFL, and Riley, another one who's been impressive, Peps. Goal, 23 disposals and 12 touches already.
22 years old, Flynn Riley, out of Old Scotch. Awkward looking kick. Results in a behind. Does have a goal on the day.
So a couple of behinds for either side to start this last quarter as the rain starting to trickle down. And the Melbourne skyline, Charleston, Nilly, Buller to Gray. As Gray's got a one-on-one, about 60 metres from Collingwood's goal. Both players just didn't quite read the flight of the ball. Initial fumble there from Harvey, then lost his footing, swooped on it. Did Sullivan. Goes back to Ryan, just conceding a little bit of ground as Ryan's kick. Can it stay in? No, it can't. That'll be out of bounds on the full. With Monaghan to bring the Blues back into it. Very risky kick. Couldn't quite pull it off. As Harvey will go through hand. Marnie now applying the pressure. They've done well to mop up this mess as Jordan Boyd just showing a little bit of composure. Finding Akers on the outer side, and he'll get the 1-2 as he so often does, Jordan Boyd.
Goes short. It'll affect the switch, the Blues. Boyd to Harvey. He'll get 50. It's knocked down by Smith after taking the mark. So he'll be brought beyond the centre circles. The handball to Wilson. Caught behind was O'Keefe. Still able to get hands on it. Risky handball. Ison trying to draw the free kick. Umpire's wise to it. Opens up for Chesser, who can't swing it around far enough.
Cochrane to bring the Pies back into play. Of course, Collingwood went goalless in the first half as Falkhead going for the long kick and got 2 hands to the football there to Charlie West. Just couldn't quite complete the mark. Ben Camperali had to sit under that football for some time, and in the end he got away with no contact. Akers now to Billy Wilson. Disposal number 18 for Wilson. It's a nice accumulator of the footy. 4 minutes into this last quarter, another entry here for the Blues. Moya, he was about the third person to the footy. Did well to at least bring it to ground. Could Fogarty run onto the football? He can. Goes back through hand as Hewitt will just pop that over the top to Matty Cottrell, who can line up from a tight angle here at Icon Park.
Nyson was involved again in that passage on the ground after the initial aerial contest. It's making things happen.
Certainly right, as he's coming onto the interchange for a well-deserved rest. As Matthew Cottrell, he's played a lot of his footy at AFL level, 74 games to be exact. This is his third game within the Smithies VFL this year. As Cottrell will line up. It's a nice looking set shot. Squeezes it through the post. And the Blues, after a few repeat entries, and again some good forward 50 pressure, able to push that lead out. And don't the boys love it? It must be his first at VFL level. He certainly kicked a few within the AFL. Some nice celebrations here and a good moments for the Navy Blue. And then just making sure they got their rotations right as well. Don't want to see the effects of the 666 warning yet again.
Margin back to 43 points then. Akers 26, Hewitt 24. 6 tackles and 8 clearances as well for George Hewitt. Ben Campriali 23, Charleston 21, Cooper Lord 20 with 9 tackles. And for Collingwood, Swaddling 23, Brown 20. Next up is Folkhead with 17. Neither ruck gets a hand to it. And that means there's a free kick. It's going to Teakle. He's going to have to come back behind his mark. One of a number of recruits for the Collingwood VFL list this season with prior AFL list experience. Running himself into some trouble there was Folkhead. Can't quite find a target inside 50. Off the ground from Laverty, the debutant misses.
It would have been a nice moment there for Xavier Laverty, as he said on debut. Noted goal scorer for the Wangaratta Magpies. 55 he kicked in 22 games last year, so I'm sure once he finds his way at VFL level, he'll be able to hit the scoreboard a bit more often. Always tough for the forwards coming in. As Cottrell couldn't quite reel that one in with the one hand. So it'll be tossed back just outside the forward 50 here for the Pies. Margin at 42 points. Minus 80 in disposals are Collingwood. They did win against Coburg despite losing the disposal count by nearly 40 a couple of weeks ago. So while the Blues looking for their first win after a couple of tough defeats by close margins, which was a bit of a theme for them in the 2025 season. Finishing just outside that wildcard position in 13th did the Blues last year. Hewitt with another disposal. He's certainly racking them up and might be back in the AFL squad sooner rather than later. Quaynor had a bit of a fumble. As on ground level, Logan Hewitt involved. Goes for a little soccer there, did Swaddling, to no real great effect, but at least stopped Carlton from getting a clean look. They're able to just get this one out, though, at the last second. They've done it a few times tonight. Lord, a bit of a fresh air. He's taken in a 360, a little bit unlucky not to be rewarded there. Collingwood backs it up, does Lord. Not much on the handball. De Bolfo, they're going to try and drag that one into his opponent, potentially taking a bit high. Just blow the whistle. There we go. It'll be thrown up centre wing broadcast side, and unfortunately, the De Bolfo fan club in attendance tonight couldn't see the free kick rewarded to him, as it'll be thrown up. As Lord was dispossessed again. Coming out with a Quaynor, a bit of a hospital pass there. And a bit of afters as well to Harvey Harrison. Somehow staying in for Cottrell. Going through hand to Campbell Chesser. Got a couple options inside. Tried to feign out the opponent with a handball. Well done from Logan. Giving it back indoors. Quaynor applying the pressure. Lord eventually turns it over to Parker.
Made it difficult for themselves, the Blues. Parker goes straight up the guts, and West able to take the grab one-on-one. He's got Printable running back towards goal. He's got a couple others as well. Elected to go in the Max Marnie direction. He's able to pick it up. Sullivan trying to turn the tackler. West again. Here's Harry Marnie. One handball extra maybe. Ends up with Printable, who got boot to ball. Both sides so labour intensive going forward at this point in the game. Results in a behind for Collingwood, but that was not pretty by any means. It'll be the Blues to bring it back into play. Cottrell looking for O'Keefe. It got to him on the bounce, but he couldn't handle it. Swadling's hands were good in tight. Quainer now pops it up into the pocket. Falls into the lap of West, who this time will kick a goal for the Pies. Again, labour intensive, but they get the result this time, Collingwood. As Charlie West hits the scoreboard for the first time tonight. That's his 6th goal of the season.
Yeah, it hasn't quite been his night, Charlie West, but despite that, his work rate's been fairly good. Was able to get a major to his name after a pretty solid start within the VFL this year, has to be said. 2 goals and then 3 in his first couple of games. So has hit the scoreboard in each of his 3 games so far. Back to 35 points. So it's just been hovering around this margin for some time, after the Blues really blew this game open with a 6-0 second quarter. The Pies managed to wrestle back a little bit, winning the third term 5-3, and pretty much been going goal for goal since then. In a rainy old night, some windy conditions inboards to Brown. Have to wait for that one. Nervous wait. Goes back inboard. So they're just looking for those inboard attacking options. Far more often there is Brady Gray. Thought he was going to try at least act for the 50 a bit more there, but it's just slipped out of his hand. Beautiful kick inside forward 50, and Jack Buller can line up from a tight angle 45 metres out. Get a couple on the trot potentially here, the Pies. Just the 1 goal straight so far for Buller. This will be his 9th disposal. Has kicked 6 goals too on the Smithies VFL season. Hit a shot from a similar spot on the other side of the ground that just held up in the wind and didn't quite make the distance. So looking for his 2nd major is Jack Buller. And I reckon he's got it. He certainly has. That's a beautiful kick. Subdued celebrations considering where they're at in the game, but nonetheless, Buller becomes the only multiple goal scorer on the evening for the Pies, and just adding a little bit of respect back to this scoreboard. And we're about at the 13-minute mark, 29 points, so potentially get a couple of quick ones. You never know, Michael, but it certainly looks like it's been Carlton's night.
Well, it's a nice finish from Buller. Margin now 29 points. Probably a little bit flattering to the Pies, considering how thoroughly Carlton have dominated the majority of this contest. They led it by 8 at quarter time, and 6-0 in the second term. Gave them a 44-point lead at the main change, and it was 36 at 3-quarter time. Find themselves behind in the second half, and Collingwood looking to maybe add on another one. Harrison, quick kick inside 50. Gathered nicely by Buller, who's pulled off his kick, which didn't go very far. Another opportunity for Folkhead, but to Cooper Lord. It's his 10th tackle of the night. And here's another one who's been terrific as he looks to force his way back into Michael Voss's lineup. O'Keefe just able to get a hand to that to prevent the lasso free kick. Akers and Hewitt each with 26 disposals. Swadling has 23, Josh Brown 24 from a Collingwood perspective. There's another one for Hewitt and another one for Akers. Up and under towards half forward. Nicely read by McGuinness. Taking on the corridor kicks now, the Pies, with nothing to lose at this point in the game. Brady Gray slow to get up. Meanwhile, the ball's with Lord at half forward for the Blues. Mostly one-on-ones inside 50. And there he's able to find a one-on-none in Darcy Tucker.
Yeah, far too easy there, and they had two players really calling for that ball for some time. Just completely uncontested. Collingwood defenders nowhere in sight.
Big name recruit for the Carlton VFL side this season, Darcy Tucker. Lost his spot on the North Melbourne AFL list last year. 29 years old. Kicks it from right on the arc and hooks it.
So the Pies will bring it out of defence, and Carlton 11 goals 16 now, so they've certainly left a few on the board. 30 points, 16-minute mark approaching. Jack Buller holding on to a good mark. Kicked that lovely set shot a few minutes back, and he tries to set some play up down the line. Certainly can. Charlie West clunking a nice mark. And some nice end-to-end football. Goes to a big pack of players. Is that going to be a high tackle? Ball eventually slips out. Crowd calling for ball. Josh Brown, snap around the corner. Misses just to the right. And if they kick that, you never know. But maybe a bit unlucky not to be rewarded with a free kick as well, as Adam Sard here for the Blues will play on, take a couple of bounces. And looking for Fogarty, but Howe's coming over the top of the spoil.
Looks like he's been swung behind the ball, Noah Howes, in this second half. And we're very tall inside forward 50 in the opening half, I should say. Uluru Smith spend a lot of time inside forward 50 as well. Blues win the clearance. That one too slick for Ison. Ryan backtracking with pressure coming from behind. Cottrell just did well to worry him out of it. Got it to Tucker. Tries to bring it back inboard. Giath couldn't complete the mark. Makes it difficult for his teammates, but they're good enough to get out of danger. Gray back to Giath, who fumbles. But the Pies will come away with it. Swadling got it from Folkhead. Smith left it for his smaller teammate to gather. Folkhead again. This time, Laverty couldn't quite take possession. Duffy did well defensively, and the Blues now go the other way. Chesser finds Moyer. 2 goals for him in that third term. Able to find a target by foot in Flynn Young, who on a better day weather-wise would almost be within range. Here's a long kick of the ball. Instead just chips it to Ison. Not a lot of movement ahead for the Blues. So he's just going to go to Lord. Called to move it on. Top of the square. O'Keefe had an opportunity at it. Ryan gets underneath the ball and just bangs it out of the area, but it's coming straight back.
Yeah, just dropped the mark at the last seconds. Monahan coming over the top, bringing the ball to ground. Collingwood get to it first on ground level, but good pressure there from the Blues to stop the surge forward. Umpire lingering around the contest, but yet again just slips out. It happened several times throughout the night. As we're nearing time on here in this last quarter, can it stay in and slip out the back here for the Pies? Buller in the end. Not a bad result, but Carlton's going to try claim the lasso to no avail. It'll be tossed back into play. 50 metres from the Pies' goal. Is hoisted back in. Smits and Riley, who have been duelling in the ruck for most of the evening. Camperale Lucas, that is. Been good tonight after coming off earlier in the game. What looked to be a pretty nasty knock. There's that one off hands. So they will avoid the lasso. Slightly forward to centre wing here for Collingwood, but pretty much neutral territory here at Icon Park. We're into time on now on afl.com.au and the AFL Live official app. Round 4 of the Smithies VFL. Third game of, it's been a big Friday. Geelong defeating Footscray and Sydney winning the derby, or the derby, whichever it's called in the VFL. A 2-on-1 in favour of the Blues. Cottrell laying the tackle. Sard was lurking. An umpire will throw this one back up.
Sting's gone out of it. Carlton have been ahead for most of the night. Sullivan off the hands of Prindable, who runs into trouble in Harvey. It'll be thrown up inside the arc for Collingwood. Chess's handball, not a great one. Kick partially smothered. We're into time on, final term. Carlton led it by 8 at the first change, 44 at the half and 36 at three-quarter time. Cooper Lord's got 29 disposals, Akers 28, Hewitt 27. Josh Brown has 27 for Collingwood. Swaddling 25, Falkhead 21. That looked like a throw to everyone except the umpires, apparently. And that'll be thrown up just inside the field of play.
Just as it was thrown into the boundary line as well.
Yep. Riley decides to try and bang it clear. Falkhead dispossessed. Akers and Gray, a lot of experience there. Sullivan's hands were slick. Now inside 50. Off hands and out of bounds.
11-16 for the Blues. 27 scoring shots to Collingwood's 18. 7-11, 53 of the Pies. Deep in their territory. Blues looking their first win of the 2026 Smithies VFL season as Adam Sard's kick going for the lasso. One of the best umpire signals going around, despite what some of the older pundits think of the umpire whipping those cracks as the signal. Big fan of it. Of course, been a part of the AFLW for a number of years. There has been probably more boundary throw-in tonight than I've seen all year, though, perhaps. It's been a pretty heavy stoppage game. This one will be tossed back in yet again. As you said, Josh Brown up to the 27 disposals for the Pies. 19 of those handballs, so he's been good within the congestion. As Sullivan linking up, big snap coming from Parker. Can it stay in or get a mark? It'll go out of bounds on the full, as it's been that kind of night for the Pies. Carlton deep in defence. Only a few minutes away from their first win of the year. They'll take on Tasmania next week, followed by St Kilda, the Casey Demons and Footscray. So a few winnable games in there, but a pretty tough run. Tasmania's playing some great football to start this year. They're looking fantastic. It's great to have them in the league. While the Pies, of course, will have the Anzac clash next week against the Bombers, followed by Box Hill, Geelong and Sydney. So that's a pretty tough draw from a Collingwood perspective. They've got it back inside now. Handball over the top, looking for a major to add a bit more respect. And it's going to be another behind there for Jack Buller, who hits the woodwork. 28 points of margin.
Adam Sard coming up for his 22nd disposal. Feeds it to Charleston, back to Sard. He clears D50 to Duffy. Akers. Tightrope in the boundary line here, the Blues. Ison back to Akers. Now Ben Camporeale. Forced to make it up as they go here, Carlton, and it's going to work out well to Moyer, who's got a couple of options inside 50. One of those is Young. Smith did well to get back and spoil without getting a piece of the arm, and it'll be a stoppage Inside Carlton's attacking 50. 2 goals, 5-1-3 in the term in Collingwood's favour. They've won the second half, the Pies. Lord squaring kicks, a good one. And this time Young's got it.
Been excellent tonight, Young. This will be disposal number 20. 8 marks, a few tackles, couple of clearances, 2 goals already. And he's set up a lot of play inside forward 50 and around defensive 50 as well. He's just been everywhere.
He's kicked 3 goals in each of his games this season. This is an opportunity for him to keep that personal streak alive. Directly in front, Flynn Young. Misses. Usually a terrific kick, but not on this occasion.
Yeah, trying to keep that streak alive, but still a fairly good effort going. He's going to Torp. Hasn't got the greatest connection on it. Got a fair bit of meterage. Brady Gray just goes to the karate kick right to Jacob Ryan, who bounced right off him. Was able to keep it in. A few of the fans behind us crying out for ball. Well, they're still... I reckon there's a bit of life in this one. There's Sammartino laying the tackle there for the Blues. Be thrown back into play. Centre wing broadcast side. Good day of Smithy's VFL action coming at you tomorrow as well. Gold Coast and Essendon with the 9:30 in the morning start there, Peps.
Mm-hmm.
It's, West Coast can't be too bad with some of their early starts. That's Williamstown Southport. That should be a very intriguing clash. 7th versus 5th on the ladder. Coburg versus St Kilda. Coburg, who's trying to get a bit of form going in 2026 while the Saints searching for their first win. Sandringham and North Melbourne. We've got Port Melbourne and Box Hill and Werribee and Frankston. It's going to be a big Super Saturday with the sole game on the Sunday between the Casey Demons and the Brisbane Lions. There's a couple of repeat throw-ins. As he said, perhaps the Pies have won the second half. So it's at least something going into the next slot of games for the Pies, that they didn't just bow down, and as we expect they wouldn't, especially going against the arch rivals. As Adam Sard linking up with another 1-2 play. He's done well to get past the contact there. Cooper Lord driving kick inside. And the Blues just looking for a bit more icing on top of the cake. And can one of the Camporale brothers finally convert a major? It's going to be Ben lining up. He's had 0 goals, 3 so far. 26 disposals, 4 tackles, 3 clearances. Can he cap it off with a major? Ben Camporale, slight angle here. It's a nice looking ball, and just at the last second swings back and hits the woodwork. He's now got 4 behinds on the night.
Kick in long up the middle from Collingwood, but straight to Sammartino, who wastes no time in getting it to Young, who's within range. He can kick his third, but he does the team thing instead. And he misses the target. Howes able to drop back. Now to Ryan. Buller leading the race against Harvey. He's got nowhere to go, though. So just jams it on the boot and kicks it out on the full. It's going to be Sammartino's ball. Approaching the 30-minute mark of this final term. Jack Sammartino, the ex-Box Hill Hawk. O'Keefe made a contest against 3 Collingwood defenders. Fogarty, that's a good kick in the Young direction. He dropped the mark, though. Hewitt to Charlson. Sets Tucker a task. Gives it off. Cottrell. And that's better. So Moyer's got it. 2 goals for him. Both coming in the third term. And he'll kick after the siren with his side already leading by 30 points. The Blues get their first win of the season. And Moyer makes it a 31-point victory for the Blues against Collingwood. 11-19-85 to 7-12-54. Ison Moyer.